Hey, what is going on, guys? I have a brand new video for you, and today, as you can probably see from the title, I want to speak to you guys about E3. But before we get into that, as you can see, I'm playing a game of Rush on Seine Crossing, and this is actually two games of Rush put back to back, both of which are on Seine Crossing, and both of which are actually defensive gameplay. Now, defensive gameplay isn't something that a lot of YouTubers upload, so that's one of the reasons I've uploaded it. But also, it was a pretty cool game, pretty intense, and I get a pretty some pretty good scores. Get some very nice kill feeds like the one you're about to see now, and I take out this back wall. This whole team camping behind that white van, so bring down the wall, and ooh, very nice kill feed there. But I thought I'd let you watch that in the background while I was speaking to you guys about E3. Now, I assume that everyone here knows what E3 is, as we're all big gamers and we love our video games. But any of you guys who don't, E3 is a conference that takes place each year in California. And it's a chance for all the gaming companies and software development companies to come together and showcase what they're working on currently and what's going to be coming out soon. And it's a good chance for us guys to get a sneak peek of, next generation games, or even sometimes, lucky occasions, next generation consoles. And get a chance to see some sneak peek trailers for games and all that kind of thing. So it's pretty exciting stuff. This year, unfortunately, I don't think there are any consoles being announced. Not to my knowledge. There's always things that are always kept hidden away and only revealed on the day as a surprise. So that's part of the excitement of it. Now, I'll be putting in the description below a link to the E3 website, because it's got a list of all the games that are being shown and stuff that people know of so far. And also on the day, if I haven't mentioned already, it's taking place this year between the 5th and the 7th of June. They normally, or they have in the past, they do a live stream on their website to the conference, which I've watched for a couple of years running now, and it's pretty cool stuff. Obviously, it's in California, which is 6 or 7 hours behind UK time, so I have to watch it at some weird times of day, but it's definitely worth staying up for. It's pretty cool stuff. And on the website at the moment, there's about 70 games that have been put on the list that are going to be showcased. I'll read you just a few segments to get you whet your appetite for what's going to be there. Things like Spec Ops: The Line, Arma 3, Resident Evil 6, Lost Planet 3, Battlefield 3 Armor Kill, Battlefield 3 Close Quarters, obviously, Crysis 3, FIFA Soccer 2013, or just FIFA 2013, Medal of Honor Warfighter, a new Sim City, Metal Gear Rising, a new Rock Band, Super Mario, Lost Planet 2, Planet Side 3 and Lost Planet 3, Dead or Alive 5, Metro Last Light, Defiant, Far Cry 3. So there's a lot of games that are being showcased. But I thought I'd go through some of the ones that have really grabbed my eye. Not only the big games and the big plays, but also some of the games that are a little bit more low key, that have grabbed my eye for different reasons, and I'm really intrigued to see what they can deliver. So going through some of the games that have really caught my eye, that are the big contenders for me personally, anyway. Arma 3 is one of the first ones by Bohemia Interactive, sorry. Now, Arma has always been a strictly PC game, and once again, Arma 3 will be a strictly PC game. Now, I've never actually owned an Arma game. As I've said, this is my first real gaming PC, and Arma has always been a game that demands a lot of, PC specifications, so I've never been able to play it myself. But I've played it quite a lot on other people's PCs, and it's very similar to Operation Flashpoint, which is, as I've said previously, is one of my all-time favourite games. Now, since Flashpoint 1, Flashpoint 2 and 3 have always been a little bit, they were never as good as I hoped. They never lived up to the name of number 1. So I've kind of hoped that Arma 3 can kind of rescue that, as it is a very similar style game. Very open world maps, very, you pick your own route. There's lots of different vehicles, hundreds of different vehicles, in fact, that you can take, and it's very, very open world. It's not it's not a very linear storyline like the campaign on games like Battlefield and stuff like that are. So it's interesting to see how the online plays out for that. Now, another big game that's on the EA table this year is obviously Crysis 3. Now, Crysis 3 will be coming out on all 3 platforms, just like Crysis 2 did. Now, I had Crysis 2 for PS3, sorry, and I never had Crysis 1. I did play it on my cousin's PC, but Crysis 2 came out before I had a gaming PC, so I had that on PS3. Now, Crysis 3 is going to be a very, very interesting game, because it sounds or looks like it's going to be a mix of number 1 and 2 put together, because if you've not played Crysis 1 took place on an island, and it was a very jungle-based environment. Crysis 2 took place in New York, and Crysis 3 is apparently in New York in the future when it's become a jungle. So They seem to have mixed the two very cleverly together there, or maybe not so cleverly. Crysis 3 in a jungle in New York. So that could be, that's going to be a big contender, I think. Obviously, Crysis has got the Cryotech engine, which is one of the most beautiful engines out there, along with obviously Frostbite 2. It always has demanded a lot of specifications for a PC. So I'm going to be getting that game for PC, I think, just because I want it to look as beautiful as it possibly can. So that's a game that I'm looking forward to a lot. Now, another one on the EA table this year, of course, is Medal of Honor Warfighter. That too is another game that I will definitely be showcasing and playing a lot of on my channel in the future. It's obviously going to be very similar to the Medal of Honor that came out in 2010, modern day first-person shooter. Very similar to Battlefield. Obviously, it uses the Frostbite 2 engine, but it's one of them games. The previous Medal of Honor, I think, was very strange because. And it wasn't that successful online, to be honest. And I think it's because it was a very kind of weird mix between Battlefield and Call of Duty. It had kind of Battlefield destruction, but Call of Duty game types and map sizes. And it was kind of like a weird freak between the two of them. And personally, for me, I didn't think it worked that well. But I'm very intrigued to see how Warfighter pans out. And it's definitely a game I will be showcasing on my channel. Now, some more big games that are on the list this year is, of course, by Ubisoft, Far Cry 3. Now, Far Cry 3 actually is very similar to Crysis. It uses the Cryotech engine, made by the same people. So Far Cry 3 is another big contender. I'll probably be getting that for PC as well, just to once again see that in its the most beautiful form I possibly can. Now, another game coming out by Ubisoft is Assassin's Creed 3. Now, I've always played Assassin's Creed, but I've never been a massive fan, if that makes any kind of sense. But Assassin's Creed 3 has really grabbed my eye. A whole new like time period, and location. This one's set in kind of the American Revolution period, and you're fighting the British, so that should be pretty interesting. So that's the game that's really caught my eye. Now, some other big titles that are going to be showcased at E3 by Square Enix include Hitman Absolution and a new Tomb Raider game. Now, obviously, the last couple of Tomb Raider games, or the last Tomb Raider game for PS3, wasn't that great, but it'll be interesting to see how they pick that up and if they've got it back to their feet at all. So there's some of the big games, or for me personally, some of the big names that stick out on that list. But some other games that people may not have heard of or may not have thought about really that have caught my eye are games like Metro Last Light. Now, Metro Last Light is coming out on 360, PC, PS3, and Wii. So it's going to be coming out on nearly everything. Now, I can't really tell you much about this game. I've got them on Facebook. I've got the Facebook group, and they keep uploading pictures. It's going to be kind of set in a post-apocalyptic world, and I don't really know much about it yet, so I'm really interested to see what they're going to show at E3. But that's a game that I'm going to be looking out for, Metro Last Light, so keep an eye out for that if you are going to be watching E3. Another one for me personally, and this is quite a funny one, is Aliens Colonial Marines by Sega. Now, I am one of the biggest Alien fans going. I cannot wait for Prometheus to come out, which is obviously kind of a spin-off prequel to Alien, obviously done by Ridley Scott again. So I'm really interested about this game. I really want to see what they're going to pull out the bag. Now, everyone knows that movie video games are never that good, and I can't see it being this good, to be honest, but it might be a game that I pick up for cheap and bang up some videos on my channel, because it could be quite funny, because just to see what they've done with the storyline. You play a colonial marine, from which is from Aliens or Alien 2. So it could be interesting to see what they've done with that game. So that's the one I've got an eye out for at E3. It could be very, very interesting. Now, one of the other games that has really caught my eye is Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. Now, I've been a massive Metal Gear Solid fan since the series came out. I've always loved Metal Gear Solid. And obviously, Metal Gear Solid 4 was meant to be the last game, and it ended really well. They tied it off so well, and as a big fan, I was pleased with the way it concluded. So when they then came out with this idea of Metal Gear Rising, I was a little bit miffed with what they were doing with it. And obviously, this game is different. It's the story not of Snake, but of Raiden. And it's going to be very, very, it's going to be a slash and hack game. Now, interestingly, originally this game was going to be made by the people who made Metal Gear Solid. And since then, Kojima's decided he doesn't want to be involved with it. So they've kind of shipped it off to somebody else. And since then, I've seen some gameplay trailers, and it does not look like a game I'm going to be interested in at all. A real shame that they're going to be staining the Metal Gear Solid name with this game. Obviously, it's Metal Gear Rising, but people will inevitably tie it towards Metal Gear Solid. So I'm going to be really interested to see at E3 what they're going to be showcasing and how awful it really could be, and how much they've kind of ruined the game a little bit. So that's something I'm really interested to see. Anyway, guys, This video is almost over now, so don't forget to check out the links below for the E3 thing, and tell me yourself in the comments below. I want to know what games you're really interested in seeing, because it should be a really interesting show. So I hope you enjoy, guys. Thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and I will see you soon.